We're starting the trial. Guessing we'll have... Oh, hey, it's Edgeworth again. Guess we'll have another day after this. The court is now in trial for the session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Prosecution's ready. Defense is ready. Very well. Opening statement. Prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed the fellow actor Jack Hammer at Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. Evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I would like to move on to your testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. I'd like to call familiar face Detective Gumshoe to the stand. Well, I'm sorry, Gumshoe, but the fact that you're first means that you're probably going to have a false testimony. Detective, you briefly describe the case to the court. I'll explain with the guide map here. Understand this case is more than a grasp the layout of the studio. See? This here is the employee area. Actors did a run through the scenes during the morning here. Main gate to the studios. Security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station there's a gate. Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. There's the scene of the murder where the body was found. Now on that day of the murder, October 15th, there was only 3 people here. Victim Jack Hammer, defendant Will Powers, and the young woman, the production assistants. The first picture is probably of the person that died, Jack Hammer, right? It's probably Jack Hammer, that's what the first picture is, right? All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Alright, after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. That's probably the first picture right there, the gate. He went through the gate. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got into the guard station. Now jump ahead to the later dates. At 5 p.m., production staff came to the Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. And the time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to the whole thing again? Skip it. I think we got it. Murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Yeah, Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? So let's call the security officer to the stand. Hello. Our favorite security lady. Will the witness declare her name? Oh God. Why aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. You just call me Grandma. These are the times where I feel bad for Edgeworth. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witness to say their names. Yeah, you're right. Only you old big dearie. You just call me Grandma. That's right. Yeah. So even when I was young, it was fucking. I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, objection. I object to the witness's talkativeness. Object is sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling onto the stand. I was just getting the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, see, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know their stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. Yeah, what do you got? On that day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run in the morning, and it was at 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. The murder happened at 2:30 p.m. Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by at 2 p.m. It was Powers, the man right there, and he was heading toward the studio. Alright, well, you saw the defendant then? Very well, let's begin the cross-examination. Yep, that photo that we just got, the final evidence that we got for the day, is the one that's gonna help us here. Yep. Doing it through since morning. I had some errands. Here's one. Got the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Murder happened 2:30. And saying to me because a certain man walked by at 2 p.m. It was Powers. No, it wasn't. That's not Powers. Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, right? Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than Steel Samurai, defender of the Neo Old Tokyo. Miss Old Bag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course, didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? Yeah. Even Edgeworth doesn't believe it. I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss Witness. He's having trouble calling her Old Big, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, or do you? Huh, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I to know everyone was to be so nosy? You should all be ashamed of all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbig has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof then. Yeah, right. Let's see it then. I never say anything. I don't mean, mind you. That morning during the run through this action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently he sprained his ankle pretty bad. And now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. See, clear as day. And that's how I know it was Powers. Happy. He had sprained his ankle very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Got to be hiding something. I'll be pressing her until she squeals. Okay. Never see anything I don't mind. Morning during the run through the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke a prop? Sure did, his own samurai spear. The murder weapon he broke? He actually broke the murder weapon. I thought it was actually just like a fake prop that obviously they have like different versions, right? Lucky I was there with my duct tape to fix it. Strikes me as a significant detail. I better write this down in the court records. Okay. Apparently he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Powers' ankles badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Anyway, I saw him dragging his sweat when he walked. You can see he's dragging his legs. See? Clear as day. Are you absolutely sure? So he was walking straight into because he was injured. Just looked like he was dragging his foot. You didn't trust me, whippersnapper. That's how I knew his Powers. Happy. Still, you can't look at this and say it's Mr. Powers. Yes, but only Mr. Powers would have been dragging his leg. He has a point. It does seem quite likely that it was Powers. I better keep pressing her. Like, find any glaring contradictions. She seems pretty sure that was Powers in the photo. Never say anything I don't mean. Yeah, everything I've said is on the straight and narrow. the up and up youth today, always whining about each other, pointing fingers. Please. Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. I think Edward has met his match. Morning during the run through the action scene. Who was present at the run through? Yeah, here we go. There's Powers, he's Steel Samurai, then poor old Hammer, Evil Magistrate, and me. So you, Will Powers, I guess you and, Jack Hammer both know that he broke or sprained his ankle. What exactly were you doing? Observing, just observing. Also, you said that you weren't at your station until 1, but you were there in the morning? What about the assistant? No, she was off moving backdrops around and such, so she didn't see the run through then. I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props, so it was a big mess. And apparently he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Trip and fall. Yes, and I think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where were the assistant then? Cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about the Powers' ankle. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Having me, Your Honor. Well, there's one thing that bothers me. Where's the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking though. That's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. It's clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. No. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we had to agree that this photo shows a Steel Samurai. Nowhere in that photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. Defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. I have to consider the possibility also. And then allow me to remove the doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Let's continue your testimony, please. No, you asked twice. Yeah, please, give me something I can work with. Time of the poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. The only person I saw go through the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. If no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. I mean, the photo is number 2, right? Only person I saw go through the studio before then. Are you absolutely sure? Quite sunny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. Let's see here. Number 2. Where's number 1? What about before you got to the guard station? Yeah, exactly. You mean before 1? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then, and I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? Witnesses answer the question. Anyone going to the studio had passed by the witness. You let him have it, edgy boy. Ugh, gross. Old Windbag sure has balls, or, well, you know what I mean. Has a good face. Old Windbags has a way of skipping over important details after all, for that matter, entirely forgetting them. Time of point, that is true. So we go through the studio, then it was Will Powers. Are you sure? Quite sunny. Actually, can I, like, maybe this? Ha! Okay, so I did have to just show this. Oops. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Go back. Look at the photograph one more time. Porn was taken by the camera at the gate of the studio is correct. Whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture. And here, I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right? Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. If you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo, and note that on the back of the photo printed the words October 15th at 2 p.m. photo number 2. Even I know what that means. It was taken at 2 p.m. on October 15th. Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says the photo number 2. The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Yeah, that's right. Whoa. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. Evidence shows that not one but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there's only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access to the security lady herself. Watch your mouth, whippersnapper. Only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate is fired twice. That means 2 people went by. And that's what it would seem to mean. Can we want to explain this to the court? Yeah, I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy. Yeah, please. Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. So I'll help you are you whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper. Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Oh my god. Let me guess, someone else passed by the gates. Someone other than the Steel Samurai? Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. And if I just get her out of here. Honestly, like, she was no help until... How do you forget that? I see. Your testimony, please. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security camera computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbay, this is the first I've heard of this. Yeah, Edward is pissed. Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it. Right, anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kinda expected this. Yeah, same. Every day after I finish my guard duty, I have one important job to do. Go through the photos recorded on the computer and check them. How many photos are there usually? Day when we're open to the public, we get more than 500 people, but on filming days, rehearsal days, well, we don't have much money. We never get more than 50, that's a big deal. That day. Do you back up all the security camera data? They keep telling me to, yes, but those computers are just so frustrating. Throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Like what? What aren't suspicious? How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. For the most part. This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. I didn't touch the suspicious looking Will Powers photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come on. I remember throwing out one photo that day, and what is that photo? Who in the heck was in the photo you erased? A fanboy. Alright, this is the kid. This is the kid I was talking about earlier. Steel Samurai fanboys, real freaks if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They always hanging out about one was there that day. Wait a second, didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. Yeah, we found that. He said only a kid could crawl through that. It leads outside, and while that's where they came in. I told you they were freaks. Oh, and They're kids, children, whippersnappers. So on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. Did the kid do it? Was the kid the murderer? Order. Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studio that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg, and there was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade. But also, where's the photo of Jackhammer? Oh, I see his type these every day. You can't stop him, can't catch him. Boy in 2nd or 3rd grade, I assume it would be hard, if not possible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. I think it's quite heavy. Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there, that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information and know if we're getting vital information this time. Please, we can't continue without this key witness. Mr. WP, yes? Tell me straight, were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio, I was sleeping, honest. So who is the Steel Samurai in the security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. You should take better care of that stuff. I can't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. Where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. What are you gonna do? First we play for more time. Start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. And it'll take them not long to shoot us down that we can get another day. If we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution through thoughts on the matter? Prosecution thoughts are simple, nothing has changed. Well, the person who went to the studio was a boy roughly 10 years of age. Photos we do have may not be hard evidence. There's still no one else that could have committed the crime. I call for a verdict guilty for the defendant of Mr. Will Powers. Very well, Mr. Wright, you have your thoughts. The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Interesting. Let's hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly in accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you'll be penalized. So the stakes weren't high enough. Who is the person other than Mr. Will Powers that could have committed murder? Grade school boy, assistant girl. Shit. That's been invented duct tape. It was broken. That means he wielded it. He wielded the spear because it's broken. It was snapped in half. It's like half the weight it was, and length. The grade school boy. Why isn't anyone saying anything? Are you seriously suggesting the boy did Mr. Wright? Grade school boy kills veteran, action star with spear. For one thing, it was a Steel Samurai holding the murder weapon. Would you care to explain just how the boy is involved? No, it wasn't. Maybe. How about absolutely, Nick? What? Oh my god. How did that not work? Security lady. steel samurai is dragging his leg in the picture. She knew about his brain angle. That means whoever was in the suit knew about the morning injury. She had access to the picture. She could have threw the pictures out. And because they had been watching the action scene to run through, there was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. What? Whippersnapper. Or is this true of Old Beg? That's Miss Old Beg to you. Was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the steel samurai costume, and then slipped in the Studio 1 in the scene of the murder. Trouble wearing the steel samurai costume. Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in the costume, she could have pointed the finger at Mr. Powers. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damned evidence? Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on the matter? Prosecution has no meaningful objection at this time. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it, is that it? Andy boy, don't just sit there, do something. Do I really think she did it? Whatever. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbig's actions on that day. And you forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. That did it. Now Winbig is one of the suspects. No hard feelings? I hope. She absolutely has hard feelings. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy, the one whose photo I erased. I tried that earlier, it didn't work. Were you not here for that? Or were you just not listening? He's only a grade schooler though, as you said, second or third, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could have pinned my old man in 10 seconds tops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? The boy is not the killer. How can you be so sure? Or is it being nice to the kids and mean to your elders day, whippersnapper? I have proof. Let's see the proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows that the boy could not have committed the murder? What the fuck? Oh, this. Scene of the murder is, we all know, Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to those studios have a card key? Oh, who would have witnessed cared to commit the murder? Winbig, speechless. This has got to be a first. Coral, suspend the proceedings to the current trial for today. Please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name? Something Old Beg, Your Honor. The prosecution will look further into this Old Beg before we continue. That's all. Thank God. Yeah, the child was a pretty bad choice. Wait a second. I'm not just gonna sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me, I'm talking. Ah, great. Stop the presses. The Winbig wants to talk. Miss Oldbig, what is this all about? Have you admitted something from your testimony? Actually, you must know there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? I'll testify. Oh my God, what do you have? Was it Gumshoe? Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. Oh my God. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me just to pretend they hadn't been in the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them go away scot-free. What the fuck? You're potentially gonna let a murderer get away. Crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now? Also, why the photos? And you've been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old pig. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. What the okay. Global Studio want me to keep quiet about it. You were told not to talk. That's right, by the studio TV bigwigs. Why didn't I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. There were some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. Who? Who are those people? Well, the director and the producer for the starters. Director. We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run through of their action scene without a director? Of course. Well, very well. I was surprised no one asked about that. Where were these people? Yeah. The director was in the employee area all morning for the run through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. There's a Studio 2. If you look at the guide map, here it is. But it was blocked because of the wind. Go through that gate and all the way to the left. Path where the monkey's head is fallen over. Oh, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue cross-examination? Maybe a little bit more. Miss Oldbeck, this is trial for murder. I know that's silly, still they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. Bonus and still talked. I think I've asked all the questions. Yeah, okay. Your Honor, we have learned that there were other at the Global Studios on the day of the question. The director and the producer and some big wigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned, and I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. Prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbeg, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. Send the day proceeding in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. Court is adjourned. Oh, thank God.